Joining me now as part of our election candidate series is Lakeland Liberal Party candidate John Turvey. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Tate. I'm glad to be here.
So, for those who are unfamiliar, you are currently an instructor at Lakeland College, and your political background dates back as far as 2015 when you served as president with the Greaseback in Edmonton. Could you just give people a little bit of a rundown on what drew you to politics?
I suppose my interest in politics really started developing in a more fulsome manner when I began teaching uh, economics courses at the Alberta School of Business. And in particular, when I started teaching government business relations, and at that point, I started to look at how the governments behave, and how our voting structure is made, and how democracy works. And tied in with my work in economics, and I'm profoundly Adam Smithian in the sense that my philosophy falls back all the way back to Adam Smith in the early 18th century. And between those two relationships, the free market aspect of Adam Smith and the power of democracy, I started to see something in politics that really drew me to it, and basically made me want to do what I could, not on an ideological plane, but to actually preserve and protect democracy. Democracy, as I see it, is very, very fragile and very, very precious. And I feel we have to step up and do what we can to preserve it.
And on that note, to the people who might write you off and think that a vote for John Turvey is just wasting a vote with the popularity of conservative politics in this area, what would you say to them?
I say nothing could be further from the truth. Okay, there is a reason why we have the Maverick Party here in Alberta. Believe it or not, the goals of the Maverick Party are the same goals that I have. We're just going about doing it differently, right? We want a strong Alberta. We want a strong Alberta integrated into Canadian politics, the Canadian economy, and Canadian society from coast to coast. Canada needs Alberta. And believe it or not, whether you like it or not, Alberta needs Canada. And we saw that through through the recent pandemic.
Moving on to your platform, then, what kind of local issues would you seek to prioritize and tackle at the helm of this seat?
One policy paper, I'll give you an example. One policy paper that I wrote and submitted, and it's somewhere I don't know who's ignoring it, but somebody's ignoring it somewhere, as all good policy papers should be at some point in their life cycle. My policy paper involved this understanding from economics. Oh God, I can't explain the economics so much, but the idea is that when your typical farmer, right, gets a new tractor or a combine or a seeder or a fertilizer or something, right, they're investing a vast amount of capital, money in physical capital so that they can increase their output. As all the farmers do that, because they have to be competitive, I'm moving supply curves with my arms now. The supply increases so much, but the demand doesn't. And so the price falls. So yes, the farmer can produce stuff, but the revenue doesn't go up. We, the consumers, get all the benefits of the farmer's investment in capital. And that's not fair because we benefit so much from it. So part of my philosophy is, my platform, sorry, is to offset that with, because we want efficient farmers, but we know they're going to pay they're not going to get anything back for their efficiency. So if we're moving forward with climate change, we want efficiency on the farms as much as possible. We know it's going to consume vast amounts of fuel and resources to generate our harvest, but you know what? We got to eat, right? That's how it's done. But we want to make sure that the farms are viable. Farms operate on economies of scale. We know that out here. Once you can't make it on a section. You need 3, 4, 1, and because you can't buy enough capital to make a small farm run efficiently, you sell the farm. The young people don't want it, and the larger corporations snag up the farms, and they can operate on economies of scale where they can now invest in capital. They can invest in a combine that can do five or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a farmer. I don't know how many sections they can do. But the point is, they can always expand and produce at a lower average cost than the family farms. And the family farms are going out of business. And what happens when they go out of business? The local communities collapse and get hollowed out. We get stranded capital, and and we lose our rural base.
Once again, this has been a sit down with John Turvey, who is the Liberal candidate for the Lakeland area in this year's election. Thanks so much for your time, John.